If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way. If I had the nerve to speak, you wouldn't hear what I say. Time has come and gone so fast, we're not who we used to be.
And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Richard and Chance from Watch Party. I had a chance to peruse your last YouTube performance, and y'all are spot on. I was like so impressed
Thank you.
with the guitar and how you like. How did y'all get started in music?
I mean, we were in a band in high school. I mean, Richard and Connor, our guitarists, they were musicians before I was, and started out in the garage. Got older, and kind of everybody kind of stopped playing for a bit, but we finally came back around. Yeah, me and Connor, we were in the high school jazz choir. We played in the rhythm section for the jazz choir, and the reason I got started into music was it was just something to do that wasn't like drugs and getting into trouble. A lot of our friend group at that time, they kind of went the direction of like harder and harder drugs, and we just kind of didn't want to go that route, so we started playing music. It was something to do, and just kind of stuck with it. I would have probably made a lot more stupid decisions as a teenager if it wasn't for these guys having a band that they were kind enough to pull me into when we were in high school.
But let me ask you this though. So like, how did you get started in music in general? Do you remember the first instrument you picked up?
Piano.
Yeah. How old were you?
I was in 6th grade, so I was like 10 years old. My Nana enrolled me in piano lessons, and that was the first instrument I played.
And how about you?
It was a bass, actually. These guys had talked about wanting a bass player, but by the time I was picking up a bass and actually like playing it, this guy had moved on to bass. So they didn't, and then I moved into playing guitar and singing more.
And then, of course, like when you picked up guitar and you started singing more, was there a point where you're like, I'm getting pretty good at this?
That didn't happen for quite some time. I kept doing it, but it took a while before I was like, hey, I actually feel like I'm a competent vocalist and guitarist. I mean, I always felt like Connor in our band was, the prodigy guitarist for sure. I think his talent shown at a very young age on the guitar. And he's always been kind of like our bedrock of musical knowledge, so to speak.
Yeah, Connor has a great understanding of music theory that he uses to like guide the band in our songwriting and stuff. So, yeah.
He doesn't know just that something sounds good. He knows why it sounds good.
Yeah.
And it's a very helpful knowledge.
And if we come up against like a roadblock in writing, Connor knows how to usually go like, oh, we can go from this to this, or we can do this, or this might be a more interesting musical idea than what we've done in the past. So he keeps our songs sounding, I think, from samey too, because Connor will never...
He likes to challenge us.
Yeah, Connor. Another thing about Connor is he doesn't like to accept anything less than perfection. I think he is like the hardest on us. Connor's our biggest critic, and he's always like, "I think we can do this better. I think we can do this better." Like we've scrapped entire songs or taken them back to the drawing board after playing them live a few times because Connor's like, I think it's uninteresting. I think we can pull it back, and I think we can do it better. So
and sometimes he's right.
Sometimes he's right.
But I appreciate that, right? Because like one of the things that I have found along my musical journey is that there's no such thing as a perfect song. There's always room to make changes and adjustments that you as a band member like feel like, oh, let's do it this way. Oh,
yeah.
I love it when I go to a concert and I hear a version that's just slightly off from the original, because it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
New ways to dig into it. And
yeah, I mean, we've I think that's just a big debate we have as a band is like, because you're right, there's no such thing as a perfect song. So like, where do you stop writing the song, and when do you just say like, okay, that's the song as it is? And
there's definitely a balance to be found.
Yeah, and so that's usually like a big internal debate. Is Connor will be like, hey, I think we can write this better, and sometimes we'll have to be like, I think the song is what it is, and I think it is great. So I think we just put this out there as is.
His strive for perfection is phenomenal, but sometimes perfect is the enemy of good. you know, like or you know the constant strive for it, you know, because sometimes we're having fun with a song, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, but at the end, at the same time, like what I appreciate now is just how much work goes into a band, because you have all of these competing viewpoints, mentalities, just different 5 human beings on a different wavelength all come together on stage and are in unison for an hour and a half, 2 hour, 3 hour show.
Yeah.
Is miraculous if you think about it.
I think that's
It
what
feels
makes it so
amazing.
great. Yeah. Because it is like for our band, it's 4 different competing viewpoints, but when we can come together and we can synchronize like that, it makes something really, really cool. Something cooler than I think we could do as individual musicians. So
It's one of the best feelings ever when we're in the garage or, you know, in the studio space, and, you know, one of us has an idea, and, you know, before the other person can even like vocalize, they're already, you know, into the next part of it, and, you know, there's this unspoken like, oh, you're already doing the thing that that I was envisioning for this. That's awesome.
And being on that same wavelength for that moment in time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then it keeps building, because, you know, then the guitar part will come in, and it's like, oh, you know, that's it right there.
and then Carson will lay something down on drums that's perfect. That's exactly like the unheard thing that needs to be heard is what like Carson's thinking on drums or whatever. So yeah, it's great.
So one of the things I always love to talk to musicians about is the muse, because I do think the muse is like a living, breathing thing. And I always like to know with musicians, what do you do when the muse visits you? How do you tap into that?
I think my visits from the muse are like very sporadic, and like, I'll be in the middle of my work day and I get like 3 words chained together, and like I usually have to like stop what I'm doing for a second and jot that down, at least so I can revisit it later. And so I just feel like I'm snatching at little moments of the muse, and eventually they turn into something.
I don't think the muse knows my phone number. I think Chance usually writes the lyrics to all of our songs. Sometimes when we're jamming together, if someone else can get it started, I can be like, "Oh, I'm hearing this. This is what I'm envisioning to come next," and I can like kind of vocalize that. But I never have ideas for.
I disagree. We were just doing something the other day that was entirely based around, you know, we were all just talking, and Richard just starts playing something on bass, and we all locked in, and that turned into a jam.
Sure.
And then there was another day where like I was writing something entirely different, and you popped out with a riff on bass, and I'm like, stop! I don't care what I was doing before. We're doing what you're doing now. And so like there's a lot of potential in those jams that I'm very excited about. So I think the muse does come to you.
I think we write a lot of our songs very collaboratively. Like sometimes Connor will compose a song, or sometimes Chance will compose a song. But a lot of our songs are written very collaboratively. So I think the muse, at least in my case, will usually appear when like we're all jamming together, and it's like this is it's like you're hearing something. I keep bringing that up because it's what it feels like. It's like I'm hearing this thing. I'm not actually hearing it, but I'm like telepathically hearing it. It's like I know it is the next thing I want to do, like musically.
See, and I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where it's even at like 2:00 in the morning, you'll get an idea and you'll wake up and like, oh, where'd that come from? So I got to write that down, because otherwise it just into the ether it goes. And then once it's gone, you can't guarantee it ever comes back.
Yeah, that's definitely happened.
I definitely like have been a couple of times where I'm getting ready for bed. I'm in my pajamas, and then like I hear something and I have to sit down, and then I'm up for an extra 30 or 45 minutes, much to the annoyance of my girlfriend. And I'm sure my neighbors sometimes.
And one of the things that I also like always talk to the bands that I talk to on this podcast is like the difference between like live shows and different venues. As you've been playing around locally and around like the Portland area, is there something you look for in a venue that like if you were to go to a venue and you're like, oh, I wish this was always something that was there for us as musicians?
From size of stage, honestly.
We've played on some small stages, and that makes when you feel tangled up in your own chords, that's a terrible feeling.
Like the No Fun Bar up in Portland was so fun to play.
It's a great venue.
But it was a little bit of a corner.
But the stage is a thimble, and you're all trying to balance on the head of it. And
they were very nice to us there, and they made sure that we had everything we needed. But if I could make any suggestion for them, is just to like extend the stage by a couple feet.
The stage like crosses paths with the way you walk for the bathroom. So like I'm positioned on the left side of the stage. I have my longer bass out, and like I'm having to like lift my headstock up so people can get in and out of the bathroom.
Access to the bathroom.
Yeah, and that's and when you're doing that, and it's like I can't interact with anyone because like I feel like if I take a step, I'm gonna unplug something or trip on my own cord. So there's other stages, like we just played Foreland on Friday, or we played Porch Fest up in Portland, and we had nice big places to kind of walk around, and it's nice to be able to like walk to each other and interact during the middle of a song, or at least like move around a bit more.
The Grange Hall even here in town was pretty forgiving too. I liked that stage.
Other things is sometimes places come with a sound guy. Other times they're like, if you have a friend, they can run sound for you, and there's advantages to both, but I do like working with the sound guy. And then I think it's mainly just like some places you contact and they'll host musicians, but I think they've just become so jaded after so long. I mean, I'm sure they've had like a lot of bad experiences. I'm sure there's reason for that, but sometimes you interact with a place and they just like act like they're not interested, or they'll work with you, but it's not going to be fun. And then other places are like, yeah, this is cool. This is the millionth time they've hosted a show, and they're like, yeah, this is cool. Let's do this.
And how much of a difference does that make for a band?
I think at least for me, it puts me in good spirits, which I think makes the set go a lot better. I
feel welcomed into the venue as opposed to just yeah.
Then we can have fun. It's not just like, okay, we got to play and we got to make sure that we're as tight as possible.
That way we get out and
and then we got to make sure we break down our stuff so the next band can set up. But when it's fun, then it's like, yeah, let's just roll with it. Let's get into it. Let's interact. It makes the stage banter a little bit more like less rehearsed too. It makes everything a lot better.
And the reason I bring that up is because I speak ad nauseum on this podcast about how important kindness is, and how important like treating people with respect and being involved is. And so I want people that are listening, not only bands but also venues that listen, like spend like 5 minutes with an extra set of courtesy for the people that are coming in and playing music for you. You know, they have worked hours and hours and days and months and years to get you this performance on stage. Little kindness will go a long way.
Yeah, and I'm sure for on the venue side too, a lot of the times they probably have to work with bands who are not very courteous to them.
Oh, that's both. Sure. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a two-way street.
The fans that come in and don't respect the space too. I definitely see both sides of it. I mean, but it definitely would be nice to feel a little bit more of the warmth.
Yeah, put your nicest like foot forward and respond in kind. And I think that if everyone does that, then the whole operation goes a lot more smoothly, and the show's just a lot better, and the viewers have a lot more fun. I mean, I think the best show we've ever played was at Real Hollywood Video, courtesy of Martin. Punk Night at Real Hollywood Video. Back in June
that was one of the smaller stages.
Yeah, that was a smaller stage, but it didn't matter because it was just so fun and everyone had such a good time.
That was my favorite show too. And now I was gonna say, like, it's nice to have space to play too, but I think another really important thing is having like a bit of an intimate space for like the audience to the band as well.
Yeah,
like Foreland was really great because we had a big stage, but we're also like 20 feet away from the nearest person.
True.
Yeah. It's really cool having the people right up there against the stage, playing right into these very appreciative audiences' faces, and it feels much more connected and, an intimate performance.
We have a musician friend, Ryan, who swears by floor shows. He thinks floor shows are the best every time. He hates the stage. He wants to be right on the floor with people, and the more we play, the more I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I definitely get that, too.
I can see that, too. Yeah, because one of the things I appreciate is, and I saw this even with the YouTube clips that I saw with you all, is just how much attention you pay to the audience and feed on the audience in your performance. How important is it for that audience to sort of set that tone and that vibe that you feed off of?
Oh, it's very important. Like we've played a show to where there was maybe 10 people there at one of our Portland shows, but every single person that was there was appreciative that we were there, and everybody
enthusiastic.
Yeah, and it meant everything for that show.
Yeah. I definitely think that there is a certain like impetus on the band being the performers to bring the vibe, to set the tone, but for the audience to respond in kind and to be willing to have fun. It's like you read like a fantasy book. You got to have that willful suspension of disbelief. You got to have the willful willingness to have fun if you go to a show. If you're there just to not interact, just to sit down, just to get out of the way, that's fine. I think that for a lot of people, maybe that's what they're going for, but gotta love when people get up and interact. I think at our last show, there was like Chance said, there was like a 20-foot gap between us and the audience, but there was a little kid, like a 3-year-old kid with some drumsticks right in front of the stage. And at one point, our drummer handed him another drumstick because he had just one. And so he started just like rocking out the entire time we're playing. Most fun thing of the night. Best interaction all night. We were playing for that kid from that point on.
That's so epic.
Yeah.
And like when we did Real Hollywood, when we did the special postcard from our very special Hollywood friend, that was I loved that the audience actually was engaged with that bit.
Yeah,
because it was meant to just give us downtime. It was just for us to be able to tune our guitars and
we just
make
needed to switch some instruments out. It was our longest transition, so we're like, what if we get a fun video to play?
And
watch party.
It wasn't an awkward, bit while the video played. The audience was actually, talking along, and it was engaged, and I loved that.
Do you still have the video?
Yes, we do.
Do you mind if I play that at the end of our podcast?
Yeah, you sure can. There's some inappropriate jokes in there, but we can definitely get it to you.
I'll filter. I'll beep them out.
Yeah, it was it's a little video from from Sam Brown from Whitest Kids You Know. A horrible, grotesque skit show that we used to watch a lot as a kid. Just low budget skit show that was on like IFC, and we were like, "Oh, hey, we can get a cameo from Sam Brown for like $30. Let's do that. Let's have him roast us. Let's have him be unhappy to be doing this for us, and let's say like you have to call us your close personal friends, but be really unhappy about it."
Yeah, he's definitely not our actual friend. But we love him.
Who came up with that idea?
We collectively, yeah.
We were like, what can we do? And then we said a video would be fun to play there. What can we do for a video? And then I think I said like we might be able to get a cameo, and you were like, Sam Brown is only $30.
I think we shopped the cameo page for like 2 days straight, and just to see what would be like the biggest celebrity for our buck.
Yeah.
The other like big contender was Billy West, the voice of Fry from Futurama.
Yeah.
I think that was the runner up.
We were playing at a video store. We're watch party. We thought that we had to incorporate some sort of video element in there.
That is so epic.
It was fun. I'm glad we went with it. We got the good reaction from the crowd. My partner, Serengeti, she was so worried that no one would get the joke or that it would be dead silent. And I was like, if it is, it's for us then.
Even her mom laughed.
Yeah, but even her mom laughed. So
That's so awesome. And then in terms of like your live show performances, right? When you get up on stage and you start to vibe with the audience, do you usually go with like a standard set list, or is it flexible based on like how the audience is moving?
For the most part, we go ahead and we standardize our set list before we go on. We've tweaked it quite a bit, and it's the only reason we do that is it's for transitions between instruments. Because our songs, like Chance will use like two different guitars, and then also sometimes you will do songs where you don't have a guitar.
And Connor plays two guitars.
Connor plays two guitars. I play two different basses, depending on like the tuning and the tone we're going for. So like sometimes we need to make it so that we're not like killing like 3 or 4 minutes between each song. We want to flow as fast as possible. That said, if we're gonna play for a venue we know is like more family friendly, we'll try to pick songs for that. If we're playing for a show that we're like going for are more like true to us punkier sound, then we'll kind of pick songs for that. Or when we were doing Porch Fest, we actually got an encore request, so we like whipped out a Billy Joel song that I think we had played once before. But yeah, when we played what was it? Make Music McMinnville outside on 3rd Street.
That was a largely improv set list.
Yeah, we had to kind of throw together a set list because it was just going to be. We thought it was just going to be me and Chance, and then our drummer was able to join us that day. But that set list, we were like, we'll do a Billy Joel cover. We wrote a song the night before to play. Because I just got a banjo, and I was like, I want to play the banjo.
Stones.
We did some Rolling Stones. Yeah.
And then did some acoustic renditions of a couple of our songs.
Yeah. And, so that ended up being a very fun show. It was pouring rain the whole time, too. We were outside, barely under any sort of cover. Yeah, we were soaking wet by the end.
Show must go on. Though,
but the show must go on.
Yeah.
And it
The
was
only
fun.
rainy day of the summer, too.
Yeah, pretty true.
Now, for those people listening that may not be as musically inclined, what's the difference between the different basses that you have? What kind of different sounds are you looking for when you switch instruments?
Yeah, so I have a longer bass, a Thunderbird that is a full-scale bass. It's really nice. It's got like this really deep
Very
tone.
rich.
Very rich tone. A lot of people will have bad things to say about Thunderbird. I love my Thunderbird. But I tend to set it into drop D tuning for the night because anything we're playing in drop D, I kind of want that richer sound for. And then I have a Fender Mustang, which I use for standard tuning. And the Fender Mustang has kind of a... I can vary the tone on it a lot more for the songs by just like moving the knobs and flicking the switch. It's got selectable pickups, so...
Shorter scale.
Yeah, it's shorter scale. I have arthritis in my hands, so the shorter scale... allows me to play it a little easier. So any songs that are a bit more complicated, that's a good one to go with. So so basically I'll switch between the night based on tuning, but I also there's different reasons for having the two different kinds rather than just having like two Fender Mustangs or whatever.
I appreciate that. And how about yourself?
So we have a couple of songs that I will play on acoustic, which I don't know, it gives it a more blended kind of sound when Connor's playing the electric lead. And they're kind of more softer pieces anyways. So I'll play the acoustic for rhythm guitar, and then I play my electric, my ESP Strat, and when we do, the heavier songs. And, most of the time I am just playing complementary rhythms. There's, like, Float On, that cover we're doing. I will play a lead line. Haunted, I have a lead line, but it's usually just a quick riff, and... Normally, I'm just playing complementary rhythms for Connor to really let loose on his electric. And then he mostly switches between his two for tunings as well. He's got one guitar that has like the locking nut. Okay. So it stays in, E standard. And then he's got his drop tuned guitar as well.
And then the other thing I appreciate about your band is the lyrics.
Oh,
That's all chance. All chance.
Yeah. How did you dial into knowing that's your range? Because you have such a unique and distinctive voice, right? So I'm thinking of
thank you, man.
How did you get to that like that sweet spot, if you will?
Well, so my regular range, like my normal octave range, like I've been working on for a long time, but I can't remember exactly when it was, but I started listening to a lot of artists that would use the falsetto, the upper register, and I became infatuated with the falsetto, and I practice it relentlessly.
Tries to work it into every song.
I practice it relentlessly because I realized that really turned up my range. And the hardest part of it was learning how to smoothly transition from my regular tenor range into my falsetto without it, being jarring. And so figuring out which keys worked best for me to do that in really helped a lot too. I find that playing in E major really helps facilitate that. Anything revolving around like the E or like the B tonalities really helps.
Chance has been practicing his singing for at least the past 10 years. Pretty, from what I can see, like pretty religiously. Like you seem to always be practicing, man. And
I sing every day.
A long ways. And when we were first playing in high school, we were all terrible at our instruments and stuff. But
I was especially awful.
I wasn't going to say that, but But
It's okay, I will.
But for 10 years, Chance has gone from having a voice where people have gone, "Oh, that's your band singer," to being
Wow, that's your band singer.
that's your band singer. Wow, you guys have such a unique singer. He's so talented. I really like.
Same words, different
The rest
inflection.
of you guys are okay, but like your singer, wow, that's special.
And I still don't believe people when they say that. But I think like I think I enjoy my lyricism more than I enjoy the sound of my own voice.
And then how do you create the lyrics? Are they based on like stories in your own life? You're based on like what you're feeling at the time? Like how do lyrics come to you?
A lot of like just reflection and like sometimes like I mean a lot of it is stuff that I'm feeling and then there's more metaphorical lines in there. Our song Candelabra entirely has no meaning. Like you can derive meaning from it, and as I was writing it, I was like, I guess this can mean this. But I just started listening to like the Mars Volta and this singer John Mess. He writes these very nonsensical lyrics, and I think like a lot what they focus on is like the rhyme scheme, or they'll focus on like really good sounding vowels and just chaining those together. And so that song was like an exercise for me in just writing things that rhymed really well and sounded good, but taking the impetus off of my mind to try and put a meaning to it.
Yeah, and from my like perspective, Chance has a like backlog of songs that he has written over the past 10 years that we are like working on and trying to get like written and all like published up. So sometimes Chance will just have lyrics already written up, and those seem to be sometimes the most like you'll be like, oh, I wrote this about this. But there is also sometimes where we'll just pick. It seems like a vibe we're like, oh, it would be cool if this song was like, if we write a song that's spooky for Halloween, because we were going to play a Halloween show. And so Chance...
That was actually all on Connor.
Oh, Connor wrote those lyrics.
Connor wrote almost all the lyrics to Haunted.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Connor wrote most of the song Haunted. Like, I think I contributed the chorus, and I think that's it. And we all just kind of threw in bits and pieces on it. But like Drive...
I didn't know that. I just came to practice, and they were like, this is the song. And I was like, I'm ready.
Drive was that way though,
yeah.
Where like this feels like a song about driving. I think while we were jamming it, I just was talking about driving.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's the theme. Let's just keep writing on driving, and it still manages to be depressing.
But take me through like the process now of like you get on these songs, you're starting to sort of get up there. Like, what is the next steps for you? Are you going to be recording sometime soon, or
that's our immediate next step? We had a lot of fun this summer playing shows, and I think this fall and winter we're going to take a little bit of a step back from trying to actively gig so we can get recording time in.
Yeah, we're working on an album right now. We just recorded 2 singles. One of the recordings didn't come out quite how we want it. The song doesn't sound how it normally sounds when we play live, or how we envision it for the recording. So we're going to go back. There was an issue with the tracking of the drums on that. So we're going to redo that one. But we have one song on Spotify right now, Royal Blue Incorporated. And that's kind of our single, our We're Showing You Us single right now. And then we hope to release an album by next summer, I think is the goal. We have most of the songs for the next album written. We're working on recording them. First step is to track drums, and then comes with all the other instruments.
Got some music video plans too. We should have our next single dropped hopefully within the next month or so. I would say
that's the goal. And then we should have. We're working on a music video right now too that we hope to have fairly soon. We got permission to film in the old Mac Theater building.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're going to record a music video for Haunted in there.
Okay, that's epic.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to do Haunted in there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
We're currently like storyboarding out what we want the music video to be. That's the step we're at. And then we got to just pick a time and get it filmed. And yeah.
And one of the things I also talk about in this podcast is about like while you're on stage, how important is that nonverbal communication between band members as you're playing?
Oh my gosh, there's like another language that you got to learn.
The amount of dirty looks Connor has shot us to to make sure that
I think there's some supportive stuff there too.
There is.
Sometimes when you're like something doesn't sound right, is it me or is it? I look at Connor and I give him a look, and Connor looks at his guitar. Connor looks at his pedals. Connor looks at me. I look at my pedals. I go, "Oh, it is me," and then I turn it off. And it's a whole conversation we have about who doesn't sound right now. What's going wrong right now, or even like
or what's going right, even.
or what's going right, or if we're just kind of like jamming on stage. If Connor's like doing some soloing and we're kind of just winging it, Connor will give everyone a look when we're ready. There's one song that one of us has to. Actually, like I have to keep count of the bars and then let the drummer know so that he can
end the
song on the right point, because the drummer can't keep time in the song and count the bars, so I count the bars for him.
I don't think it's so much that he can't. It's that we all somehow manage to count wrong.
If he counts, he always counts to 7 instead of 8. So I'm going to say he can't.
That too. I'm going to save Carson here a little bit and say I usually do the same thing.
Exactly. So I go ahead and count the bars in that song, and I give him like a nod or something to signal when he needs to end the song.
And then in terms of like the communication with the crowd, like one of the things that I've noticed, especially like with punk and some of the music styles, is there's a huge difference between Portland audiences and audiences in other places.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, the audiences in Portland are always more respectful. They're more laid back. Like, I went to a concert recently, and there was no mosh pit. And I was like, what is going on, Portland? Like,
I think
it was kind of nice, but it was, like, interesting.
I think it definitely depends on the scene you're going to as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I went to this show for Rhododendron, Mauve, and Growing Pains last year up at the Wonder Ballroom, and, like, Rhododendron's heavy.
Yeah.
They sound like Soundgarden, like, but on massive amounts of guitar steroids. But they, like, as heavy as that vibe was, there wasn't any moshing, but everybody was very into it. But then you go to this was in Salem, mind you, but we went to go see Suffer and our friends in Body Cam, and I think it was Temporal was the other one, but they were moshing hard in that crowd.
Yeah. We have some friends in the hardcore scene, and every time we go to their show, there's lots of moshing.
Interesting.
I think part of it, though, is Ryan Bodycam will normally throw himself into the crowd to get the moshing going.
Okay.
He kickstarts it.
And I think it's sometimes it is on the band to kind of call for that as well. Like,
That's true. I never thought about that.
I feel like if you go to one of our shows, and if we don't tell you to mosh, you're probably not going to mosh.
Yeah.
So I mean, like a little bit of it's the band's vibe. It's a little bit of the venue's vibe, and what kind of audience you're bringing in.
I will say on that Portland audience as being respectful, though, this is something that I've noticed too. I've never had a bad time with any of the shows we played, including in Portland. Meanwhile, the owner of the Cabana Club, I was asking him if they ever do live music there. He said last time they tried, a bunch of Linfield students booed the band off the stage. And I was like, oh man, I didn't even know that I never even thought about that happening.
Yeah.
Never even considered.
I didn't know that you could boo bands off stages.
New fear unlocked.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll be honest. We saw. I'm not gonna like call them out or anything, but we saw a band that was like just kind of getting started. I think everyone was kind of new to their instruments, and their rhythm was a little rough, their tone was a little rough, but like everyone in the audience was still like
so nice,
and like trying, like getting into it still, and just it's like that suspension of disbelief thing. It's like you're there to have a good time, so just choose to have a good time.
We've definitely been that band as well.
Oh yeah.
Even not even just in our younger days, definitely in our current days as well. Like we've been the band were like, this song did not go the way it was supposed to go.
I'll be honest. Last Friday at Forland here in McMinnville, there was a few songs where I was like, man,
I chunked a few as well. But the audience was so nice and receptive still. Yeah. And that's all you can ask for is just a kind, receptive audience. Very respectful.
Because I think some people tend to forget, like, it's live. Mm-hmm. Right? And I don't know if you've had the same experience that I have. If you set up the night before, right, and you leave everything plugged in place, and you come the next day, you haven't touched anything, and something electronic still doesn't work. Like, you can only rely on technology so much. And so, like, when you're playing live with something, that give people grace because you have no idea what's happening behind the scenes and like all that stuff. And so I think it's huge. Yeah, like to recognize and support that it's live.
Yeah, Punk Night at Real Hollywood Video, one of the bands, their pedal board died, and they could not figure out what happened during the whole time. And they had just tested it before they left their house, and the audience was cool. The audience was receptive. And when he finally said, I got to cut out the whole pedal board. I'm just going to play without any effects or tone. I'm just going to play completely clean, for which they're a hardcore band, so that was pretty out of the normal for them. The audience was just happy to hear them get going, and it was perfect. And I think the audience couldn't have been any better for like such a. I guess they told me they were never able to recreate the problem, and when they took the pedal board home, it worked just fine. So
I'm telling
I think there's just a curse. There's just a curse on stuff going wrong when you're on stage. It's like if you have an electronic component that can go wrong, it will go wrong. It's something you got to kind of plan for, but you also can't plan for. It's like you just got to be ready.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, and actually, one of the instances in my mind that was actually recent is this guy. I won't give his name either, but I felt so bad because he was using a wireless mic for the first time. And his wireless mic was cutting out with the house wireless mic because they were on the same frequency. And so, like, every third word of his songs would drop off. And I was like,
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I was like, But luckily, the crowd was very supportive. And it was good music.
Yeah.
Just, like, every third word, I was like, that's so bad.
See, that's something that you don't think that... You don't plan, because you can't plan for that to happen. But you just got to be willing to roll with it. Do your best.
Absolutely. That's... keeping the spirit up on stage. You don't, even if something goes a little bit bad on stage, you want to keep maintaining that good energy for the audience, and not let the little bit of bad time on stage affect everything else.
Yeah, because the audience can pick up on that.
Absolutely. And but what the audience doesn't often pick up on is how dire of a mistake you might feel like you've made. You can totally botch a chunk of song, and the audience very well might not even notice, or they just might think that's how the song goes, or they're focused on the guitar player because they're playing a really good solo, and so they don't hear a couple of wrong notes from the singer's voice, or the drummer dropping a drumstick. But to that player that does that on the stage, it feels awful.
It feels like the end of the world.
When I just recently made a mistake on stage, it felt like the whole world just crashed for a second.
And I'll be honest, even playing with you, Chance, you say you chunked it that last performance, even just as on that stage with you, I didn't notice you mess up at all. All I noticed was my own mess ups.
I didn't exactly. See, it never feels as bad to the audience as it feels to on stage, and so that's just another reason just to always keep it pushing.
And how much do you rely on that audience to sort of build on your own energy?
It sucks if they don't.
It sucks if they don't. You got to bring a lot of your own energy. It is a very
Like you're the performer. You're performing for them. So part of it I think is is on you. It's like your responsibility
big give and take
to bring the energy. But if the audience doesn't reciprocate, then it's just all right.
It's gonna be a long night.
I feel like an unfunny comedian, kind of thing. It's exactly. It's gonna be a long night. It's
part of the reason why I stuck with performing since we were a garage band back in the days. We played one of our first big shows, and even though like we look back on it, we don't think we were very good. The audience was just so very kind to us. We'd get done playing a song, and the audience was very receptive, and we're giving all this energy. We worked so hard to do this, giving all that energy out to the audience, and they give it right back. And I don't know, it was almost like a runner's high for the performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
the high of being on stage is nice.
It's something that I've chased ever since. And that was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's like a wave of thunder. When you get like a good reaction from the crowd, that response from them is
electrifying.
Everything. Yeah, it really charges you up in a way that like nothing else does. It's so great to when you play and you put your heart into something and that audience gives you that energy right back. Oh, it's like it amplifies it, it magnifies it. It's great.
And then within that, because I want to circle back for a second, because I think what you said is important. Most musicians are doing music for the passion of it, not for the money of it.
There's no money.
And so what keeps you all grinding?
Just the love of the game, man.
Yeah.
I've loved making music, for a long time, and I think the happiest points of my life have always been being active in music.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand for me, and there's something so satisfying about writing something, playing something, getting it down on a recording or performing it live on a stage, and seeing this thing that was just a thought in your brain come to life as something else.
Yeah, it's like something you can be proud of. It's something. It's just like this act of love. It's so nice. It's like you mentioned the money thing. Like I think with us as a band, money is nice insofar as it minimizes how much money we are losing in being musicians. Like the cost of equipment, the cost of
break even is great.
That's everything. If we can break even on anything, solid. Our goal with merch, if we can break even, awesome. I would love to do that. Like we keep a band fund, it's always in the red. But the point is not money. When there is money, the minimizing of the loss is nice, but the point is to like create something, to be a part of something, to do something. And it's a lot of it is like that sensation of just being a part of like a greater whole, whether it's being one member of a 4-piece band or being the band being like one part of a bigger musical community in an area. That is why I love doing it. That's my drive, is I love just being a part of these like bigger things, these things that are bigger than me that I can put energy into, and they'll put energy right back into me.
I'm a high school dropout myself. I don't I don't see myself doing a lot more than like what I do in my day job professionally, and that's honestly very fine for me, because as long as I get to keep playing music, I'll be happy.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, I don't make any money off this podcast. I doubt I ever will. I do it because I love this.
Yeah.
Like, talking to musicians and learning about musicians is nothing. Like, that's a high for me.
Yeah.
It's the best experience ever. I don't care if it ever makes money. However, I'm going to keep doing it because this is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me and Chance are actually part of a concert production company in town called Better Tomorrow.
Brand new.
It's pretty new. We put on a few shows. We're counting the Real Hollywood show as one of ours, and
it
was the crew that put. It was so successful, and a lot of it was Martin's work. But it was so successful that we're like, we want to keep doing this. So we got some shows coming up with like Beerly Bruin and stuff like that.
Probably use the Grange Hall again, probably more than once.
Yeah, and we're pretty much. I've talked to a few places, and they're like, "How are you guys compensated?" And I was like, "As the production company, we're not." But as long as the bands get some sort of compensation, like, we're happy. Production company, we're considering ourselves like a nonprofit. Like, we're maybe losing a little bit of money on each show. Doesn't matter.
The most important.
We just want to put on stuff for our community.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The most important thing is just getting these musicians in the area more places to play, and kind of a little bit more specifically, the heavier acts in town.
Yeah.
Like there's quite a few places where you can stop in as a acoustic singer songwriter, and you can probably get in an open mic night, or you can get in a couple, some cover sets for like some of the wine bars. But ever since we were a garage band in high school, there's been very minimal ways to play shows in this area. And
Yeah, you struggle outside of Portland to find places where you can play louder, plugged-in kind of music, and so we've been trying to kind of facilitate more shows where people have been able to do that.
a more variety of genre in the area and more platform for artists like us, like Stonecliff. I love Stonecliff to death.
Yeah, local band Stonecliff, absolutely fantastic.
And I want to put on so many shows for them because they deserve it.
Yeah. Body Cam, Suffer, Witness the End, The Must. These bands all have like a heavier sound, and so like a wine bar might not want them to play there, but I want to hear them play.
Yeah.
And I want to hear them play locally, and I want them to be able to play for their community. So we talked to Beerly, we talked to Real Hollywood Video about putting on these shows, and
I think Dave Station you were talking to the other day as well.
So we're hoping there's lots of stuff that we're hoping to do, and part of it is just like we want. It's about being a part of that like community. The community aspect of it is a huge drive for me.
I think one of the biggest things that we're working on right now is to build these partnerships and relationships with these local businesses, and we want to show them that it is good for business to have these bands come and play in your areas. It is a mutually beneficial thing for the community to have these artists come into your space.
Punk crowds can. I think sometimes people are very scared of the idea of hosting punk music, but punk crowds can be extremely respectful to a space.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things, too, I love about that is because it's all about access, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, especially in these days and times, they don't have the $250 necessary to go see Metallica live in Portland.
Right.
And so having like heavy local bands and access to heavy, like if that's music that you love and you can go catch a show for like $10, $20, even free, like that's a game changer in small communities.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and it gives inspiration. Like, I think when we were, like, young musicians, seeing local bands play was like, oh, my gosh, I don't know if I'll ever be Metallica, but I could be like those guys, and that's really cool. And so, yeah, I think the local shows are hugely important.
I try to encourage as many people as I can to stop spending hundreds of dollars on these, tour tickets for, like you said, like Metallica or somebody else. I love the Foo Fighters, but I'm hard pressed to be able to afford, a large chunk of my my paycheck to go and see them. But I can pay $20 and I can go see an incredibly talented local band and have a great time with my friends.
Yeah, and like the music industry nowadays, like talent has nothing to do with whether or not you're successful. So I think you can find really, really talented musicians very locally, and you can see absolutely. We just played with a band called The New Mistakes. Oh my gosh,
so talented.
So talented.
I think they're from Salem, but they had they had it all. They did a little bit of heavy.
They were funky. They were heavy. They were so good.
They had two vocalists. They harmonized so well. The keys and synths that he was laying down, it was so good.
Some of the most original music I think I've heard. Like I think I hear more original, very original sounding music on a local scene than I do coming out of like record studios and stuff like that.
100%, and music actually written by the band.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to contracting out your writing to some stranger, and it's like there's a separation of connection. I think when you have songs that are written by somebody else completely, and you just show up and sing, versus no, I poured my heart and soul and developed this from the muse from start to finish. There's just a different connection.
I'm aware of every piece of this song and every moving part, and I'm aware of why it all fits together and what makes it work. Yeah.
And you had just mentioned something though that I kind of want to touch base on, because I think it's also important for people to realize, because you're saying like success is not dependent on talent anymore.
Yeah.
It's dependent on connections and financial resources on the front end.
Yeah.
You almost
a little bit
have
of nepotism.
to be wealthy or related to have that extra oomph to get up to the next stage.
Exactly. And
It's a lot of circumstance.
Yeah.
And we talk sometimes as a band about how the worst part about being like a band today is that you have to be super active on social media. And I hate social media like most people do, but like you have to. It is what venues are like booking on, and it is like how most other bands. It is like the medium of talking to like a lot of other bands and how other bands like follow us and stay in tuned with what we're doing. So it's like,
What really gets those followers, is like suddenly you don't have to just be a band anymore. You also have to be a video editing studio.
Yeah.
You have to be a sketch comedy group. And, in kind of some ways.
but when you just go see these local shows, all of that falls away, and you just get to see like these amazing, talented musicians that you can often talk to after the show and tell them how good they were, and and it's really cool. And
Do you like it when people come up and talk to you after the show?
absolutely.
That's one of the best. I love talking to other bands too, but I really love when just pure audience just comes to talk to us as well.
It's cool. I think that makes it feel I don't know, like really worthwhile. Like it not that like adoration is like the goal of the game, but like just to have people come up to you and say like, "Hey, I see what you did and I liked it," is to be like, "Awesome, this is amazing. I feel seen." And
I think
in this artistic endeavor.
That's exactly the wording I was going to use too, is seen. It's not like about like, oh, like I'm being seen. Like it could take one person in that night coming up and saying like that couple of words you said, or the feeling that you guys evoked in this section of the song really resonated with me in this way, and just being seen in that way through the art is just what makes it so very much worth it.
Yeah, it's a blast. It's fun. It's so yeah, if you ever come to a watch party show and you like what we do, please come say something. Love it.
And in terms
Please
of
give
like,
Connor a hug.
I love that. Repeat that one more time. I cut you off.
Please give Connor a hug.
He loves them.
And so, like, one of the things too that I'm curious about in terms of like performances and like getting the booking and all that stuff, I don't think a lot of people understand just how much work that piece is
my
as
gosh.
well.
Yeah.
That's this guy's main.
Yeah.
Chance is doing a lot of the songwriting. I'm doing a lot of the booking. And
I try to help him when I can, but
managing.
I'm just not as good at it as he is. For some reason, people like talking to Richard a
It
lot
is-
more than they like talking to me.
It is so like I'm a business owner here in town, and I think like it is a lot of the same like skills that go into trying to get those bookings and trying to get those connections with other bands that goes into running a business. It's like running a second business sometimes, it feels like. And again, it's not a business that makes any money, and the goal is not to make any money, but it is like that amount of work. It is a ton. It is constantly going through. You got to cold email people, you got to cold call people, you have to just like do your due diligence and search for venues, bands, booking agencies, influencers, whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
And I would say like probably after like 30 calls, you might get one gig.
Yeah, that's about it. I send about like 30 emails, maybe get one response asking for a gig. This summer we were able to play about as many shows as we wanted and or could handle, and we were able to like set up enough. And part of that was just I finally just was like, I'm just going to email everybody. I'm going to email everybody I physically can. I'm going to stop going, I'm picking a venue and I'm going to email them and I'm going to wait till I get a response. I'm just going to kind of send it out. And I personalized every email, sent them out to the venue in specific. I finally got enough responses back that we were able to put together like a bill. And there's like a snowball effect to that. Like once you start getting bookings, more bookings start to come, to the point where we actually had to, luckily we got to the point where we were able to be like, we can't do these venues. These venues are offering it to us, but we got to kind of put them aside. Maybe come springtime or something, because we do want to start working on like recording an album and stuff. So
Getting that traction was just so rewarding feeling for all the work we've been putting in over the last year.
which made sending 50 personalized emails out feel worth it. And part of that is you got to connect with other bands because they'll put together 3-band bills at a lot of venues in Portland and stuff.
A lot of venues want you to put together the bill.
Or and so like you got to have other bands so that you can put them on a bill so you can sell it to the venue, or so that they can put you on their bills.
So when you're reaching out to a venue and you have, like, let's say you're cold calling or whatever, is it common for them to say yes if you can bring 2 more with you?
Yes. A lot of the times, especially when we reach out to Portland, being a McMinnville-based band, a lot of places will go, yes, if you can get 2 Portland bands.
Because they
have the local draw. And they have like friends who will come out and see them and stuff. So it depends. Like sometimes if we can get a bigger band with us, like there's like a big band in Salem, Worse, that we have like some connections with. Sometimes I've talked to venues and they're like, that would work plus a Portland band. They just want to make sure that they're getting their people in.
I get that. And my gut reaction is only because one of the things that I'm experiencing with this podcast in particular is you'll have musicians or venues that say, you're not big enough as a podcast host.
Yeah, I hate that.
And we don't want to promote our own image. Like, it's like, anyway, I digress.
Yeah, we call that big dogging.
Right. Yeah.
It
doesn't feel good.
I can't stand it. We have been big dogged by bands, and it's like, okay, we get it. Yeah, whatever. It's so, I don't know. It's such a...
My goal is to never big dog a band.
Right?
The production company. You got 2 followers on Instagram.
If you got music to play, contact A Better Tomorrow. If you're in the McMinnville area and you got music that you want to put in front of someone, regardless of what genre it is, just contact us. We'd love to put together a bill for you.
And if you're a musician in McMinnville and you want this kind of an interview, reach out to me and we'll put you on the podcast. Because these kind of conversations about musicians, about your music, is one of the things I think is missing.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough access to like local musicians to talk about their own journey in music.
Yeah, very fair.
And it's such a unique journey. Like I always say, like not even twins have an exact same life experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so just finding out how people get to where they are and hearing your journey, I'm geeking out already.
Well, yeah, I really love your podcast. I really love like your podcast's like idea, your core idea here of interviewing like local musicians. It's really, really cool, and it's really cool to be able to be in this position to talk about the music on this side of things, because normally this is something we just talk about amongst ourselves. And
no, this has been a great conversation. I mean, I love the questions that you're asking us too. I mean, it's been wonderful. Thank you for having us.
Well, I appreciate it because we've been at it for an hour.
Perfect.
Really? It has not felt like that. My goodness.
So tell people how they can follow you, where they can hear your music.
Yeah, so I know I just said I hate Instagram, but you can follow us on Instagram. It's probably the best place to follow us, as the place we update for all of our shows. We also have a Spotify. You can find the song Royal Blue Incorporated. We're going to be posting more to Spotify soon. We have a Bandcamp. Chance posts on there quite a bit, so we'll even post like demos and stuff on there that we're working on. So yeah, and just if you're in the McMinnville or Salem area, keep your eyes peeled. We hope to be playing at a venue near you soon.
And by the way, this lovely building we're in is Richard's very nice tea shop business.
Oh, that is a good point. We do have to sort of thank you so much for allowing us to record here.
Of course.
This is the Velvet Monkey.
Yes. Yeah, Velvet Monkey Tea here in McMinnville on 3rd Street.
And good tea, by the way.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it.
And we'll end the show the way I always end the show. Be kind, people. We are all on the same planet. We share the same air. And if you're just kind to one another, this world will just be a much better place. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.